Welcome to the Pit Crew. I'm Camille, you're attending, and I have my residents with me.
I'm Mal.
And I'm Robert.
And today we're talking about episode 12, 6 p.m. I said Pit Crew podcast last week. Welcome to the Pit Crew podcast. And it bothers me so much.
I mean, that's the name.
Yeah, but ew.
It's like how you don't say Macbeth in theater. You don't say podcast on a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So, Robert, would you like to present today's patient?
Sure. Today's patient presents with not being able to read the fucking room.
Nice.
You know, me neither.
And Mal, I think you wanted to rename today's episode. What did you want to call it?
Oh, yes. I wanted to rename the episode Lotta Sadness for the World We Live In, because I love sort of hippie guy who comes into the ER. And also, I got a lot of sadness for the world we live in right now. Yeah. And that spoke to me. So here we are, laughing through the pain. Anyway.
So before we jump into the meat of this episode, we planned on having a little conversation with a friend of mine who is a 911 dispatcher. We were going to start that episode this way. That conversation went on a lot longer than we planned, which is great. It was an incredible conversation. We're going to give that to you tomorrow. We wanted to give you that conversation in its entirety. We didn't want you to be scared of the length of this episode. So we're going to give you that conversation tomorrow. But we did want to give a voice to the very first people to respond to these scenarios, which are our 911 dispatchers. So stay tuned tomorrow. We are going to bring you that conversation. It was really wonderful. Tears. I found it to be very insightful. And hopefully it will kind of help you to get some perspective on the next time you call 911. If they sound too calm for your liking, you're going to get to hear from a 911 dispatcher. And she has...
The next time you call 911. We hope you never call 911, but
I hope you never call 911.
Sort of the same mentality of that, like people in ER, like people who work in ERs have, like, it was great to know you. We hope we never see you again.
I say that to people all the time about their computers. I'm like, all right, have a great day. I hope I never see you again. Don't ever do anything to your computer again.
Stop using your computer. Clock out, leave.
Oh boy. Get out!
Let's all just abandon technology entirely and go live in the woods. Who's with me?
Mal, we wouldn't be able to talk.
But you're coming with me to the woods. That's the thing.
Have you guys ever seen that, like, meme, roughly 60% of people report being afraid of technology? And it's just a dude who hops out from the corner with a sign that says technology to scare people. He's like, technology!
No.
Oh my god.
What is this?
I am on... This is an old meme. This is like
oh
before.
Oh my god, what's the one...
TikTok I cannot even fathom.
No,
I am on levels of, like,
where
Reddit.
He's like, my name is Jonathan with a B and I'm afraid of bees or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's a bee?
I'm scared of insects. Where's the bee?
There's a bee?
There's a bee?
Yeah. All right. So what a fun introduction to a real heavy episode.
A very heavy episode. It's gonna be... I have my worries about this episode. As I was watching it, I was like, this is one of the best episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And I texted you guys while I was watching this. This is a great fucking episode.
Well, 100%. This is, I think, the episode that took the show from good to great for me. Like, I was watching it on my commute home, and my commute home is very long. I work and live in different boroughs, and so it takes me like an hour to get home. And I was watching this episode and like looked up, and my commute was like 3/4 of the way over, and I didn't even realize because I was so locked in on this episode. Like, it's so good.
Mal, I think this is the last episode that I watched by myself, because I think from here on out, you and I FaceTimed while we watched the season.
PITT Thursdays.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
And FaceTime while we watched the episodes, but I think this was the last episode that I watched by myself. And then I had you to watch.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I remember you posting about this one and Mel's moment where she's like, you're here.
So we'll get there.
Yeah.
So we start this episode with Robbie trying to reach Jake. And everybody's kind of in a tizzy.
Ooh.
There's a code triage being called, and you can immediately see that like the newbies don't know what that means. They're looking around at like each other to see if anybody has like a look of recognition on their face.
Well, and it's also like longer into the episode than I was even expecting before somebody's like, hey, wait, what is going on? And they finally like tell everyone else that like, hey, there's this active shooter at PitFest.
I experienced this episode in two different ways. In one way, everything was so rapid and it was like, go, 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 here we go. But at the same time, it also felt slow motion. And
the beginning feels slow motion. Yeah.
I feel like that is I almost feel like that's just incredible storytelling, because I feel like that's probably what it's like for the people in that moment.
Yeah.
Like the beginning of the episode, I was like, but then you start to sit there and go, oh my God, like ambulance response times, like what is that like? And like this much time is passing, like that's crazy. And so like, it just feels like light speed but molasses at the same time, and it's so crazy, and just the most beautiful storytelling to be able to make you feel both things at the same time.
This episode won them the Emmy for sure.
Absolutely. And I know someone's gonna be like, actually they submitted this episode, and I'm like, that's not what we're talking about, okay? Like this is
in our hearts. This episode
in our hearts, this was the moment where you watched it and just went, oh shit. I think my heart just was racing through this entire episode, and I was shocked. This episode is 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
I think the shortest of the entire season.
It feels the shortest, but it also feels the longest.
Yes.
Like it's such an interesting experience watching this episode. Yeah.
But it also, when I watched it live, I was like, I started this episode 5 minutes ago. I heard the music right by the end of the episode, and I could tell that meant like we're wrapping up, and I was like, there's no fucking way. We just started. There's no way.
Yeah. How did we do this week to week? Like,
God.
Being able to just watch the next one is
oh my God.
something that I kind of take for granted rewatching it. But I'm like, we had to wait a week. We had to wait a week.
Yeah.
Because of the other creative ventures I'm taking, I'm looking at a lot of things related to like books and movies. And I've found a lot of like threads and ideas of like, oh, you know what's a lost art? Going to the bathroom and getting snacks in between commercials.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
My heart was always like pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. Like go, 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 go. Don't miss anything. Yeah. You know? Oh my God.
But it's gonna be so difficult. Hey, putting it onto the void. Hey, pit crew people, or hey, pit people, give us screeners.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll talk about your show for free and how great it is.
That's a great thing to point out to our listeners. So there is a thing where like podcasters, media people, things like that, they get episodes in advance. Now they signed like NDAs, they can't talk about it until time, but they can watch the episodes, and then that way they can bring you. So when you're wondering like, how do these people who are writing articles about the show have the articles posted 3 minutes after the episode is done? It's because they saw it a week ago or whatever, and they've already finished that content. So we don't know what the future holds for us. We don't know if we're going to get those episodes at the same time as you guys, or if we're going to get to see them beforehand. Obviously for us, we would love to see them beforehand, but on the same,
no matter what, we will be here yapping. So
we're gonna be here. We're gonna be enjoying it. There is something enjoyable about watching it 1 week at a time, I will say.
That being said, if we do end up having to watch them live as they come out, we might have to move our upload date. We are going to be locked in for like 3 fucking months of go, record as soon as the episode drops, watch it as oh my God.
So
please
just know, like
Noah Wiley, longtime listener of the show. Noah Wiley, who's my lock screen. Noah Wiley, get up in here and give me those screeners.
Your lock screen is your boyfriend,
Noah Wiley.
Yeah, exactly.
So just
why the fuck do you know what my lock screen is? Why are you looking at my phone?
I've seen it.
I was like, weren't you guys together like a week ago? Anyway,
we're together all the time. It's ridiculous. I see Robert too much.
That's
your
home
screen is your boyfriend.
Is that a butthole?
He's there somewhere.
No, so that's an otter.
It's a teddy bear.
An otter plushie. That's an otter plushie.
Your home screen is definitely Mac, though. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I can tell you what the picture is. He's sitting in front of a brick wall.
So, just so our listeners know, like, if we are blessed and honored to be able to get episodes in advance, we will have them on time for you immediately after the episodes air. And if not, it's gonna be like a week later, something like that. We will try our best. You're just going to stick with us. We'll bring you content. We will be here. Back on topic.
All that to say.
Robbie comes in. Gloria is already there. She confirms that a mass casualty incident text and email has gone out to all the staff to alert them to what's going on and to bring in as many people as possible. Robbie tells Dana to encourage some of those people to stay put, which can't be easy for someone who works in emergency medicine.
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine being told, just stay home.
I would on one hand, if I'm trying to imagine like alternate universe Robert who works in an ER, where on one hand I'm like, no, I can help, and on the other hand I'm like, oh, thank fuck, I get to sleep more.
Yeah, no, I kind of had that same thought, but also just like I don't mean this as an insult to anyone who works in emergency medicine, but that God complex of like, no, I have to be there. I'm the one that can save these people.
Well, I think in 8 hours when Collins turns her phone on, she'll be ready to relieve some people.
Basically, Robbie is like, tell some of these people to stay home because in 8 hours...
Go home, Frank!
We have, all these people who are coming in, and in 8 hours, we're going to need a break, especially because we're going to see like the adrenaline crash to end all adrenaline crashes. I've never seen one more beautifully conveyed on TV. In 8 hours, we're going to need those people to come in and be clear-headed and rested. And so Robbie then asked Dana if she can get in touch with Jake. I also just can't imagine like the desperation of knowing that phones just like, I don't know if you guys have ever like been to a very large concert or something like that where the phones just like stop working.
Oh yeah, this happens because like I run marathons for fun, brag. And at the end of like big races like that, you cannot use your phone because everyone is trying to get on the phone to contact their families, whoever they're meeting up with. So like you have to go in ahead of time with a designated place to meet up with people.
How crazy is it that we're in the year of our Lord 2025 and people using their phones means that phones stop working? I saw Bruno Mars at a music festival once, and then as the show ended, trying to get an Uber and my phone was dying, and like my phone died and the Uber hadn't arrived. There was no cell phone service. Everything was a nightmare. It was just like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then I was able to like plug my phone into something, or I don't know, just enough that I got a notification that was like, your Uber is arriving. And I was like, oh, like, oh my God. And so I just like, I can't imagine being in this situation.
Yeah.
And desperately needing help and the phones just don't work. That is terrifying to me. And there's so much in this episode. We start to talk about like where we need to move patients. Basically, we have to empty this ER like entirely. Everybody here gotta get out. Whitaker points out that there's an empty wing on the 8th floor.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Went. Did I just say went? Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Why does he know that? There's no one to staff it. Robbie has no comment. So basically, we've got to get everybody out of the ER. McKay, though, I think this is the first moment of the episode where I just like felt my heart sink into my butt when McKay looks at Robbie and says, have the police found David? And I just think like my heart might have come out of my butt cheeks.
And the way he doesn't even answer, he just kind of...
there's something so genuine about the portrayal of she's trying to be casual, but also like, this is very serious. Have the police found David? I feel sick just thinking about it now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's still just building up this, oh shit, did he? It's this sinking feeling because you're like, Robbie wants so desperately to help this kid. But if this kid actually committed this mass shooting...
Well, one, like, Robbie doesn't forgive himself for anything. But also, like, if it's this kid, Robbie's just gonna die of guilt. But also, like, I in this situation, like, I don't give a shit about what Robbie feels and thinks. Because McKay was fucking right. And she told him so. And, like, I think as a woman, I'm sitting here like, McKay has literally been warning you about this. But also, you have to remember, we're at 6 p.m. We don't find out. We're going to spoil everything. So, like, we never find out who the shooter is because that's not the point.
No.
Which is a very interesting way of handling the whole situation. We will talk about that when we get there. It's kind of beautiful. We'll talk
It's
about it.
honestly stronger to keep the shooter.
I don't want to remember the shooter's name. I want to remember the victims.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have to remember, like, Mal and I watched this as it was airing. So we waited, what, 3 fucking weeks to find
and I was
out?
fully convinced that David was the shooter.
Oh, and I only had to wait like 3 hours, and even I was fucking freaking out the entire time, being like, please don't be David.
It's David, it's Doug.
Doug was the other option.
Right.
Doug, listen, Doug can't do a single thing right. I did not think for a second that he was the guy.
Well, because I was like, okay, this is a TV show. And, in a TV show, everything connects. And we have this, like, missing piece. But it felt more true to real life that it wasn't someone that we knew and had already met. Because I think a lot of times in real life, like, bad things just happen. And there's no, like, lead up in the narrative.
We'll talk about it when we get there, because I want to get so much into, there's so much that happens in this hour, but I want to, like, focus on what happens here and not what happens later, because I have so many thoughts and I don't want to, like, get too much into it now, but I think I think that this show broke the mold, because I think that in every show I've seen, the shooter has been, like, someone that we know. Obviously, like, some of us have watched, like, Grey's Anatomy, One Tree Hill, things like that, and we knew who the shooter was. And it was something that you could be like, oh, yeah. Robbie takes a moment to encourage everybody to call their loved ones. Do what you need to do. You're not going to have the time, and the cell phone service is going to be gone. Did anybody else feel like this, like, rejoicing moment as soon as Abbott walked in the door?
Yes.
I was like, oh, thank God. Someone who's well rested. Like,
he's gotten his 8 hours of rest, and he is a new person. This is a different Abbott than we met in episode 1.
Do you think Dr. Abbott has ever slept 8 fucking hours in his life?
Abbott walked in the door and I could smell his aftershave. I was like, oh, thank God.
Abbott got his 6 hours, because that's
I'm sorry. Do you think Dr. Abbott gets 6 hours of sleep? The man's a war vet. You think this man, I feel like he's comfortable with like 3 hours of sleep at night. He's like, that's all I need.
Abbott definitely has 2 legs. Wink, wink. So I literally paused and, like, looked at the time, because Abbott is, like, awake. He's listening to police scanners, and he has arrived. He's, like, shaved, showered, fully dressed, ready to work. He's got his backpack. He's got everything
flourishing in his lane.
Like, he's 5 minutes after the first call has come in. So, but literally, he's, like, walking in the door, and if you look at the timestamp, it's been, like, approximately 5 minutes since the first calls came in. So I would give him maybe a couple more minutes, but, like, how close does he live? Was he getting there early? Either way, I love him. Thank you, God, that he's here.
Yeah, he got here fast. Maybe he was the shooter.
Oh my God. Do you know that that was on Reddit?
Really?
People also thought Langdon may have been the shooter, because they were like, maybe he did it so that he was needed and he could come back.
That would be nuts.
Absolutely banana pants. Oh my God. Okay,
that's the kind of drama you get in Grey's Anatomy.
Langdon's only been gone for 2 hours. Can you reasonably rush to
1
where
hour.
hour and change?
Yeah.
He left at, like, the end of the 4 o'clock shift. He's back here at, like, the beginning-ish of the 6 o'clock shift.
Yeah.
Or, like, the 6 o'clock time slot, I mean.
Those guns shoot pretty fast. I'm just saying.
Yes, but can Langdon get his scrawny ass, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, from the hospital to where the PITT Fest is, and then back within an hour?
I don't know enough about Pittsburgh.
Now, okay, so I will say, there are interviews where people have asked Patrick, like, do you think that Langdon ever even left? And he said no. I thought before I even saw those interviews, I was like, there's no way he went home. There's absolutely no way this man went home. He would not confront his wife and show up early from work. There's no way. He is literally, my idea is I'm like, Langdon is in the parking garage in his car calling Dana and Robbie. There's no way he ever left. He was on the premises the whole time.
You know that meme where it's like from Umbrella Academy, it's Elliot Page's character and the other guy, like they're in the cars passing each other. It's that. It's that, but it's
the PITT shooter in Langdon.
No. It's that, but it's upstairs in like the halls that don't have anyone, and it's Whitaker and Langdon passing each other.
Neither of them are leaving the premises.
No, neither of them have ever left.
Whitaker is the Victorian ghost haunting this hospital.
So, Robbie is incredibly glad to see Abbott. They are honestly a dream team together. The disaster bins come down. They go into... He
calls him brother. It's cute.
Brother. It's... Yeah. I mean, oh, fuck you, toxic brother, masculinity. So it's not here. I will say there is a goof here. The disaster bins come down. They go into the trauma rooms. Someone pointed this out to me in my DMs. They said when the bins are wheeled into those, I think they're the behavioral trauma units, to the right is the pharmacy and IV bin. Wait. Okay, so what is wheeled in and then pushed to the right is the pharmacy and IV bin. What is pushed to the left is the administrative bin, if you are watching. Then Abbott goes, he cuts the zip tie from the bin, and as we zoom back out, those bins have been switched, and he has cut the tie on the admin bin instead. So they're somehow continuity, those bins got switched. And again, I will say very rare.
Throw the whole show away.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah. Anyway, this podcast has been really fun to do, but...
Yeah, I'm like, this podcast is over because they switched the bins.
I can't believe the PITT's details were wrong. If only there were an account that could call that out.
Okay, all right, hold on. I have specifically not pointed out mistakes because I didn't want people to think I was a hater.
I'll point out mistakes. I'm a hater.
That's why I point them out for you, Robert.
Thank you.
So those bins have been switched. I love, actually, as you're watching Abbott unpack the bins, that you can hear him like talking to himself. Like he's like reading the labels of the things he's pulling out of the bin, and I kind of love that. It's like, it's very real.
I too love to narrate as I do things because I love to hear the sound of my own voice.
Yeah. Listen, as pet parents, we kind of just like narrate because like at home we're doing it for our pets. And then we're by ourselves and we're like, oh crap, I'm doing it. So the waiting room is being emptied. There's an old man. He is pissed. He says that it's fucking stupid. Mateo says, you know, this
shootings
emergency.
Are stupid, sir.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mateo says, I'm very sorry, but this is an emergency. And the man says, this is an emergency room. And I'm like, you know what? You're literally standing and talking. So get fucked, my guy. Like, I understand as someone who's been in an emergency to me situation that there are more important emergencies. Like, to me, I may be thinking I'm dying, but someone else is actually dying. So get fucked.
Right.
Robbie asked for pharmacy to come down and open PDS. By the way, that is like where the drugs come from. You type in, Dana has shown Santos before. This is, you type in what you need, it comes out, the numbers change, all that kind of stuff. So basically, Robbie is saying, come down here and just open it. And I can't imagine like the nightmare that must be for like accounting for medication.
Langdon should have waited like just a couple hours.
I had that thought, and then I was like, I'm not going to say that.
I'll say it.
That's why you have us to be monsters to say it.
So everybody's making their phone calls. They're calling their families, their loved ones. And it just like makes my heart race just to watch it. And the only thing that I could even come close is, I mean, like we'll talk about it in our bonus episode tomorrow. But other than that, the only thing that I can think of like contact people is like middle of the night when you wake up and your mom's calling you because there's a tornado warning in your area kind of a thing. But like my heart is racing just watching these people being like, hey, like contingency plans. Like that is just there's so much anxiety. It's crazy. McKay makes a phone call to her parents and tells her parents she needs them to come and get Harrison. She also goes in to talk to Harrison, kind of just be like, hey, things are going on. Like, we can't leave yet, but my parents are going to come and get you. She tells Harrison that he can't watch anything scary. And I wonder if this is like a hint to the fact that Fiona Dourif's father is Brad Dourif and he voiced Chucky. Did you guys know that?
I did not know that.
Chucky the murder doll?
Yes.
Wild.
McKay's father in
Interesting.
real life, who, by the way, we will see him in an episode. McKay's father is actually played by Fiona Dourif's father, Brad Dourif.
Oh my gosh.
That is her real father, and he voiced Chucky. So I wonder if this is like a nod to that. I like that when Robbie goes into the trauma bays and he starts talking to the nurses about like, take this out, we need this here, we need this there. All of the people that he's talking to are actual nurses who are med techs on the show.
Love.
In that scene. And so
Right.
they really do lend that legitimacy of like, their actions, the movement is like very natural and legitimate. So then we go out and we start kind of presenting to everybody. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to handle this. Abbott is going to be
teams.
Woo! We have Abbott as our primary emergency department doctor. He's rested. He's a combat medic. That's why Robbie is not. I think that there are definitely people who watched the show and they were like, why the hell not Robbie? Because Robbie is at the end of a 12-hour shift.
He's fucking tired and mentally unwell.
And Abbott came in and was ready for business. Like, from the second he got there and really got down to it, I was like, yeah, it makes sense for him to take the lead here.
Because we also have Walsh for primary surgery. We have Gladden for anesthesiology, who's someone we don't meet. But we want to talk about being here for business. We got Shen for triage.
Oh my
Shen's
God,
honestly my favorite night shift character.
What an icon.
Honest to God, my favorite night shift character.
Yeah, every time I see Shen, I just think of my friend Mary, who is Shen's Duncan on Instagram. He is so like, he just shows up and he's like, oh, so like he's the night shift attending.
He's so unbothered.
He's so like, and we'll talk about this in a minute. I'm like,
slurping on that
who
Duncan.
is this? How did he have time? Like,
also, I want to know, like, how long has this man been drinking this iced coffee, and does he have any ice left? Because there's like so little iced coffee in there, and like by the time I am notoriously bad about forgetting about my coffee. Like, I have never had a hot coffee in my life because I just like fill it up, and then an hour later I am reminded by someone at work that like, hey, you have coffee, and I was like, oh yeah, and so then I drink this like no longer warm coffee. But it's the same when I have an iced coffee. Like, I just let it melt and whatever. And so by the time I get to like just a little bit of coffee, it is mostly water because the ice has melted and it's like gross brown muddy water.
That's why you can't swish your cup around, because if you don't swish your cup, the water that melts from the ice will stay on top of like the coffee and the syrup, and then you can just drink until it's just water and be like, haha.
Oh,
that's what I do.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Don't swish your cup.
I just want to know, also, it being Duncan is like 1 out of every 4 times the best thing you've ever drank. Like 2 out of every 4 times, it's like, okay. And then 1, it's like, it's dirty dishwater. Yeah, it's disgusting. And that's being generous depending on the Duncan. Sometimes it's worse than others. But how was Shin's coffee today? Like, was it a good coffee? Was it...
Mm.
If you order 4 different coffees, like it's wild.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, it depends on the time of day. As a former Starbucks barista, it depends on the time of day that you go. Because if you go in the morning, there are baristas who are always there in the morning, and then there are like night shift baristas or like afternoon baristas. So like, if you go at the same time every day, they will know your order and they will get it right. But if you go at different times, you never know what you're gonna get. It's a whole different store in the afternoon.
So everyone is gowning up.
Mm-hmm. And we like gowning.
Gowning. No. I'm saying gown up. I'm doing a parody
Gown
of oh fuck, what's his name? Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. Gown up. Yeah.
Nothing suits me like a suit.
Just
that
get
song
up
used
here.
to be on my iPod.
Nothing gowns me like a gown.
That character did not age well.
So everybody's gowning up. We are like, as the ambulance bay doors are opening, we are hearing ambulances. They are getting closer. Robbie is giving like the lowdown, like instructions for everything. He wants Samira on red with him and Abbott, which is interesting considering he's called her slow-mo the entire season. Then we want McKay on pink, Mel on yellow. And one thing that I noticed as we're like giving instructions on how to handle all of this is that Sean Hattasey as Abbott like demands eye contact. As he's delivering lines to people, he is looking them straight in the eye, like he is seeking out eye contact. It's very interesting, and it's very endearing as someone watching, because it like instills trust in a way that he has like direct eye contact at all times. He is not shying away from it. He's like, I'm talking to you and I am making sure you're making eye contact with me and understanding that I'm speaking with you.
When you're providing medical care for people who have gone through a mass shooting, unfortunately, some of those people are going to die. So you need a morgue. Making peds the morgue is so fucking creepy.
If I die and you put me in a room painted with cartoon characters, I will haunt you.
I was wondering, is the room bigger? Because I don't know, just based on vibes from the show, that room feels larger.
I think it's just kind of out
to me.
Of way.
I feel like logically it should be smaller because the patients are smaller.
Because it's for children. I don't know, just something about it. It seems like there is more space in that room compared to some of the other rooms, and maybe that is just me making things up, but
I think
don't
it's
know.
just more separated. When you have a child in the ER, you don't want them like hearing screaming adults and all that kind of stuff. So I think you just don't want to further traumatize your patients by letting them see dead bodies, which, I mean, obviously, a lot of them have seen that at this point already. Obviously, they've seen something, thank God, none of us can imagine, but it separates it. Yeah. So, like, I get it, but I'm also like, the family room. But then I'm like, okay, fine, they need the family room, but still, like, really? We're really setting this up here.
I also wonder if they are sort of anticipating not having children, just because, like, this is not a school shooting, this is a music festival, so you're anticipating a lot of adults and like maybe teenagers at the youngest.
Well, it makes me think of like the Travis Scott concert in Texas, Astroworld or whatever, and there was there were children that died there, you know, and that was awful. And also, I think a lot of us forget that like teenagers under 18 are seen by pediatricians.
Yeah,
that is true.
Everybody has a barcoded chart that is going to go on their wrist. There is no intake. There is no, do you have insurance? What's your name? What's your birthday? What's your address? There's no forms to fill out. So everybody has a barcoded chart that is going to be put on their wrist as they are coming in through triage.
I was very impressed with all of this. Like, just the thought and the planning that has very clearly gone into how to handle these events. And I mean, I know like Robbie talks later about like them having faculty meetings or staff meetings or whatever about them. And so like, obviously there is a lot of like, there are a lot of things in place, but like, it just, I was like, wow, these are things that I would like never even think of, because I would just be like, okay, in the moment we got to do this thing. And then it would get to the end of the thing and I would be like, okay, so now how do I like know who these patients are? But then I was like, wow, they've thought through that. Like, I don't know. I was just mind blown.
Mind blown, but also just like you have that moment of thinking, we haven't had QR codes and barcodes and stuff all that long. And like social media and smartphones. And then also like super impressed, but so fucking depressed equal amounts. You have that, like, I'm so impressed, and then 2 seconds later, you're like, fuck, why do we have this? Abbott says if you run out of space on the chart, right on their forehead. And they're like, are you serious? And he's like, yes. And I don't know that there are words for that, so we'll just keep talking.
It's just one of those things. Keep talking. Yep.
Yeah. I am so struck as I was watching this, first by Santos and then by Princess. Especially, I just want to like shout out Kristen Villanueva, because the face acting of she's not looking at Robbie, but she is intently listening. You can tell that she's like indexing, categorizing, but she's feeling emotions. She's panicked. She's just insane. Incredible acting here. So both to Kristen and to Issa, both of them, they stood out in this shot to me as just like the most genuine there's something very raw about
Uh-huh.
these performances, and I just was really struck by that. Whitaker, Javati, and Santos are all sent basically to like scavenge for supplies. Collins is gone. Dana is trying to get her to come back. And then like, where the fuck is Myrna?
Yeah.
Where's Myrna?
We never get
And
an answer about this either.
no, I don't know who let her go. We never get this answered. It definitely wasn't Antoine because he says, hell no. That woman scares the shit out of me. She keeps trying to bite me.
This like made me cackle. Like in such a serious episode, I was so glad to have this
Yeah.
little moment of humor
Yeah.
because it was so funny.
But like I think for the first time today, I've probably seen this episode 4 or 5 times, and today I had this moment of watching it and being like, of course someone took the cuffs off of her because they were like, fuck it, get everyone out. You know? Of course
Oh,
they
who did
took the
it?
cuffs off. God. We'll never know. We go out into the ambulance bay. There are 300 wrist charts. Shen is still just like vibing with his donkeys. He's like so chill. Robbie brings up their last like staff meeting about mass casualty incidents where they like go over everything, and Shen points out that like he wasn't an attending back then, so he wasn't there.
Now we got to get the Cliff's Notes version of like what he's supposed to do. I've seen some people critique the scene and be like, they're on equal footing. He should know. And it's like, he was a resident 3 months ago. They literally spell it out why Shen doesn't know what to do.
Right. But also like I appreciate that they show us very different reactions.
Mm-hmm.
If every doctor were reacting the same way, it wouldn't feel real. But I do sit here and think, like, is this like a trauma response? Is this a panic response? Like, what is this
he's
vibe?
So chill.
And obviously he takes his job incredibly seriously and he's very good at it. But like what is this vibe?
Yeah, it's very
Vibe?
interesting.
Like, he's on it, he's answering all the questions correctly, because even Robbie is like, I don't think he's getting it. And he's like pop quizzing him in the moment, and he gets everything right. He answers everything properly.
Well, he also may just be like a very internal, anxious person, because I learned that about me apparently at work because I said something about like, oh, I'm just always anxious that I'm about to get fired. And one of my coworkers looked at me and she was like, I can't imagine you being anxious about anything. And I said, what?
Which is so funny that your coworkers can't, because I can. As your personal friend, I can absolutely see you anxious about everything.
Right. But so I'm like, maybe Shen, since he's new to the job, he hasn't let his coworkers like see that side of him. So they like just.
And to be clear, not like new to being a doctor, but new to being like an attending. Maybe this is Shen the attending. I don't think that I ever, even watching through the rest of the season, register Shen as an attending. He rings as like a resident to me.
Yeah. He looks really young.
He's very young. But also, like, consider the fact that Langdon is a year off from being an attending as well.
Langdon seems older to me than Shen does.
I think it's just because he talks more. You know him better. I think that's
probably
why. Teresa comes out, and somehow, like, she's got through everything. I'm like, everybody's being evacuated basically out of the ER, but like Teresa gets through.
This was kind of a jump scare. I was like, girl, why are you still here?
I was like, oh my god, I'm scared. Like, Teresa comes through, Robbie signs the psychiatric hold documents. And then as this is happening, a police car arrives with the first 4 victims. This is interesting to me. Robbie tells this police officer, you need to talk to that woman. Her son had something to do with the shooting.
Yeah, he's very definitive about that. It's not a her son might have, it's a her son had something to do with it.
And so I'm like, stand your ground, Robbie. Like, what the fuck? Now you're gonna flip-flop? Because whatever. Anyway, we'll get there. We also have Sylvia arriving with her son Omar. Omar is deaf. Sylvia is very clear about the fact that Omar is deaf. I want to point out the fact that Sylvia and Omar are both played by deaf actors. I had a moment as I was watching this and I heard Sylvia speaking and I was like, she's deaf. I can hear it like in the way that she's speaking, she's deaf. Yes, this actress is deaf. The actor that plays Omar is also actually deaf. That is incredible for representation, is the fact that these are very minor roles. And I think in a million shows, they would have just cast people.
Yeah.
But the PITT took the initiative to cast deaf actors as deaf characters. That to me is pretty incredible. I really appreciated that. In the same van is our first casualty. He is DOA. Omar, as he's being wheeled away, there's a very universal sign. I think the majority of people, even if we don't sign, understand this sign as being I love you. It's like rock on, but you also put your thumb up. It's I love you.
So it's like rock on, because I've never seen people just do this without the thumb.
Oh, I do this all the time. I'd be like, eh. But you put your thumb up, I love you. It's what I do like when I see my family members in traffic, I love you. So as he signs, I love you, I had a moment, I was watching this as the PITT details. I was watching this and I noticed Sylvia's hands and I thought, surely she's signing something. But again, the subtitles unfortunately fail us. I love you is not subtitled. American Sign Language, as well as all other sign languages, are valid languages. They should be subtitled. I have mentioned this before about this show. I am disappointed by the subtitles. Again, I am disappointed by the subtitles. I wish they had subtitled this.
We received, I forget if it was a comment or it was a review that was like, Tagalog is a language that often doesn't get translated in subtitles.
Tagalog is like amazingly the only language that is actually subtitled in the show. So like frequently it isn't, but in this show it is. But the others are not. So he signs I love you, but I noticed I thought as I was watching this for the millionth time, I thought she's saying something to him. And so I couldn't figure it out. I went online, I tried my best. I went to Reddit, I posted the clip. I tried to ask people what is she saying? People were like, it's nothing. She's not signing. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to reach out to the actress herself. I did. She responded to me and she said that she is signing I'll be close.
Oh.
Casual flex, by the way, just messaging the actress and being like, hey, what did you say?
I thought it was great. I was really, really flattered that she responded. But he signs I love you and she says I'll be close.
That's so sweet.
And I just thought, I really wish that was subtitled. I understand that half of her sentence was not even seen, but I just thought she's not just grabbing the seat of the car. She is signing something. She's saying something. Something is happening with her hands, and I couldn't figure it out. I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask this actress. Thank God she saw my message, and she said, I signed. I'll be close.
I love that. I'm going to cry.
The ever early Dr. Ellis, who was mentioned in our previous episode, Robbie says Dr. Ellis is always early.
This is my favorite night shift doctor. This is my favorite night shift doctor.
I do. I saw Dr. Ellis and I was like, okay, I'm kind of obsessed with her. She shows up and she's like, where do you want me? What do I need to do? And Robbie, tells her what to do and then says, let me know if you need help. She walks out. She sees everything happening and she says,
and she goes, help.
Help. And I thought, I love this bitch. Robbie comes into the trauma room where Omar is. He tells Mohan that Omar is deaf. I noticed, though, that she does not acknowledge this in any way. She doesn't nod. She doesn't say anything. She's very focused. Because I think the first time I watched this, I was like, oh my God, we've mentioned multiple times, he's deaf. But his mother's insistence to make sure that people understand, she continues to advocate for her son, and I love it. Because clearly, as I rewatch this, I understand Mohan did not pick this up. She did not put it on his chart. Thank God for Mel later on. She does come in and she puts it on his chart. She writes it out herself. She makes a point to come and say it. Abbott is doing IOs instead of IVs. So I wanted to research this. I think watching it, we kind of get a general idea, but I'm going to mispronounce this, but intraosseous, I'm so sorry, access is inserting a needle into bone marrow. So an IO is used over IV, intravenous, when veins are difficult to access for whatever reason. Here, there could be a myriad of reasons, right? But time is probably our most pertinent reason. But you would use this if someone's veins are collapsed, anything like that. So we could have a ton of different reasons why someone's veins aren't accessible in this moment. But of course, right now, we don't have time.
A fun fact that I learned is apparently the part that hurts one getting an IO isn't going into the bone marrow. It's the skin twisting. That's the part that hurts. So if you pinch the skin, from what I've seen, I'm not a doctor, If you pinch the skin and you like hold it as you do the IO, they use the IO drill, which, hey, shout out to our little icon, by the way. That's our icon, an IO drill.
Well, IO drill. To be like a pit crew drill.
If you pinch the skin, you just go in and out. It doesn't hurt. The only other instance of getting an IO that hurts is like apparently like the expansion of the tube, I think is what it would be called, correct? I mean, also, yeah, so Mac also pointed out most of the time you're getting an IO, you're not conscious. But there's one conscious character in the show who gets it, and if Whitaker knew to pinch, then maybe, just maybe, it would not have hurt the clown.
I will say, the most recent time that I was in the ER, as the nurse gave me like an injection in my leg, she took her thumb and she started rubbing near the injection as she was inserting, like as she was pushing the injection. And she was like, if you're seeing me move my thumb, it's just because I'm trying to kind of distract, which is interesting. I mean, like, I don't know about you guys, but like, if you were going through something painful as a child, did your mom ever like pinch you somewhere else? Well, fuck me then. My mom, I can't remember like an example. Maybe like if you had a splinter, she would pinch you somewhere else as you pulled the splinter so that you were focused on the fact that she was pinching you instead. So anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense.
So a lot of the nursing staff in these trauma bays are actual nursing staff in real life. These are actual medical professionals. I really appreciate the fact that they really wanted to make these scenes look very legitimate. And so like when there are roles that are technical, they were like, let's have medical professionals. Like, let's do it. Let's have medical professionals play this role. Let's have them lend their legitimacy to these scenes, right? Like, I loved that. I thought it was really great. So Sylvia has gone into yellow, and she tells Mel that Omar is deaf. Okay, she makes a point to make sure Mel knows, people know, her son is deaf, ASL only. That's American Sign Language. I want to make a point to say, you cannot expect a deaf person to read your lips. Sign language in general is a language, right? And so you can't like expect that someone, just because they're deaf and they live in America, can read your lips in English. That's not fair. That's not their language. And so I want to like stress the fact that I just thought it was beautiful that there's this woman who is probably in an incredible amount of pain. She's been hit by a car, okay? She wasn't shot, her son was shot, but she says, oh, I got, hit by a car as we were trying to get out. And she is spending every moment of her energy saying, ASL only, ASL only, ASL only. Like, don't expect him to read your lips. You have to speak his language to him. That, to me, is very beautiful. We cut to Giovanni and McKay. She's doing some very serious mouth breathing.
Me too, girl.
Notice.
Okay.
What a mouth breather.
Patrick Ball take a back seat as a mouth breather. Giovanni is doing so much mouth breathing to keep from fainting. She is like having to see so much blood and she is just not well, but she is breathing through her mouth. I just think this is like, again, great acting. Because like the thought that goes into being like, yeah, I would be breathing through my mouth trying to keep myself upright.
Oh, yeah.
I love the fact that McKay tells her to go with her mom, and then she stops and corrects herself and says Dr. Shamsi, because like so much respect and love for Dr. McKay.
Yeah.
For being the one person who's not like your mom. She actively corrects herself.
Recognizing Giovanni for her own worth and skills and herself as a person.
Absolutely. And we continue to see that relationship like thrive in this episode and in continuing, like throughout the rest of the season. Mel rushes in to confirm basically that everyone understands that Omar is ASL only. He's going up to surgery. She literally rushes in. She's describing him and they're like, he's right here. He's about to go to surgery. She runs up with a Sharpie and makes sure to list on his chart that he is ASL only. Thank God, because if you think about it, like people who don't know this, if you're in recovery and they're speaking to you and you're just like not responding, they could misunderstand that as being something else entirely. If they don't know that you were deaf when you came in, And
I mean, just from like a person perspective, besides the medical point of view, like I'm imagining this kid like waking up in an unfamiliar situation and like not being able to understand anyone. Like that would be terrifying.
There would be so many faces in your face. Like, as someone, I don't know, like, anybody who's woken up from surgery before understands that, like, you can pay attention to one thing at a time.
The one and only time I ever underwent surgery was a trip. I was out like a light, never even remembering, and I woke up like, where the fuck am I?
Right. But you really, and also, like, you have to think about, if you've never undergone anesthesia, when you wake up, there are some seriously fucked up side effects. When the most recent time that I woke up from anesthesia, I was so fucking pissed because I was like, I'm not allowed to eat. I wasn't allowed to eat 12 hours before my surgery, and somebody in here is eating barbecue. And they were like, no. You literally just woke up from surgery. You're surrounded by other people who just woke up from surgery. Nobody has had anything to drink and anything to eat. And I'm like, no, someone in here is eating barbecue. I was pissed because I was like, that's disrespectful. So you have to think about like all those extra, especially considering like if you were born deaf, if you are deaf, the heightened senses otherwise, right? The fact that like those medications that they use to put you under and like the painkillers and all that after the fact fuck with your senses. Like that, I can't imagine. Oh my god, I can't imagine. Penis alert! It's been a hot minute. Whoop whoop.
I didn't even notice.
It's a fake penis. But you literally see like a catheterized penis.
I'm gonna have to go back and look because I did not notice.
Mal doesn't notice penises.
Clearly not.
It was there for like 4 or 5 full seconds, and
okay,
finally
right.
Jack covers it.
What's the timestamp on that penis?
I don't know. They're wheeling Omar out, and someone's like, whoa, they're like, oh, it's this, and there's a whole penis with a catheter in it.
A whole penis? Not even a half penis?
Hey friends, guess what?
What?
Guess who's back?
Back again. Langdon's back.
Tell a friend.
Robbie's pissed. And then he walks up to Langdon and he's like, hey, you shouldn't be here. And Langdon's like, no one should be here.
What are you doing here? And
low-key, rightfully so. Like, Langdon should not be here.
Low-key, rightfully so. But also, as I was watching it, I, as a Langdon lover, had like this wave of like, oh, thank God. But I will say, as the PITT details, I had watched the trailer a million times and I knew he was coming back because I saw the top of his head. It was the most ridiculous. I was like, is this Langdon? And then a week later, I was like, oh my God, it was right.
It's like, oh, it is Langdon.
Robbie is pissed that Langdon is back. But this, like, isn't the time because, like, to be honest, they need Langdon. They really need Langdon. But the whole line of, like, Langdon looks up and says, trust me. And Robbie says, it's a little late for that. Gagged. I'm fucking gagged. Like, oh my God. I literally was like, I'm going to shit my heart out. So, of course, we have our patient with a head lack, and he says, whatever happened to peace and love? We love this man. I love this man. He is kind of like a constant, like, pulse of this episode, I will say. This old man, to me, this hippie man, really does kind of seem like a pulse to the episode.
Oh, I found the penis. Okay, I did see it. Sorry, back to that. Anyway.
This is like how during the mailbag episode where we were talking about serious shit, Mal comes in, she's like,
back to the fan fiction. Back to the penis.
Found the Santos Garcia smut. Now I found the penis.
Now it's the penis.
Listeners, I just want you to know, when one of my co-hosts goes silent, it's because they're not paying attention. They're reading something else. They're looking up steakhouse reviews, they're reading Reddit, they're reading fanfic, they're checking AO3 tags. Like,
you should keep your residents under control.
You know what? If one of you has a drug addiction, that's not on me.
I have a drug addiction, and it's called life.
I'm high on life, baby. Wasn't that like a cut line from Langdon in episode 1? He's like, I'm high on life, baby. Anyway.
Yeah, because it was going to be too on the nose, and people were like, ugh.
Yeah, I really encourage you, go read the like released script for episode 1. They cut a lot of lines and a lot of things that genuinely would have given it away, and I'm so glad they did, but that's Robert.
It's kind of like, oh wow, it's kind of like how if you're a Marvel fan, you know, Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch interact a lot. So Tom Holland especially wanted there to be a no shit Sherlock line because they both played Sherlock in one adaptation or another. And both of them were like, that is a stupid line, we should never include it. I'm like, yes, it's a stupid line, but it'd be funny. It'd be fan service.
No,
it would be funny.
Santos is trying to check on this guy's injury, but he like does not want her to. He's like, no, go check on other people. Fucking weird, bro. Like his voice is not shaking. He's not sweaty. He is just very calm compared to everyone else. Don't like him. Moving on. You have to keep in mind.
What? Why? Wait, we don't like him? What? I thought he was sweet and trying to be
fuck
like,
that
no,
guy.
and trying to be like, no.
Take care of everyone else, and then he's gonna die. No. So we don't.
All right, note to self: Camille does not like self-sacrifice. Got it.
I don't like white men.
Well, because you know who this guy is.
We know who he is. So
I'm just saying, like,
but it's suspicious. It's like she literally is like, no. This is my job. Let me look. And he's like, no. Other people need you. And she's like, what the fuck?
Well, him just being here is wasting her time that could be spent with other people. Like,
he has a brain bleed. What the fuck do you mean wasting her time?
Sure. So
I don't know if we're doing a bit or not. I'm afraid.
I was like, are you doing a bit?
I think this character is fine. I'm just like, are we doing a bit? Do we wish for the hippie to die?
No, not the hippie.
Not the hippie.
Oh,
it's not the hippie.
The honey guy. The honey guy.
Oh yeah, that guy can fucking die. Oh god. Okay. I thought we were talking about the hippie. Oh god.
Oh my god.
I love him. One of my top favorite characters.
God.
No.
Oh god. Okay, fantastic.
So, you have to keep in mind that in these situations, you don't just have bullet wounds. You've got like blunt trauma. You've got trampling victims. You have overdoses. You have diabetic comas. Okay. So we have all these people coming in, right? Do you guys now, like, we immediately cut to the ambulance bay and we have a news reporter who is trying to interview Ahmad, the security guard that we have seen throughout the season. And he is like, no, I've told you once. I'm not going to tell you again. You've got to go around the front. One, I'm pissed that she's in the way. Okay. I'm pissed that she's in the way.
She's like, oh no, come on. The people deserve to know. It's like, they will know after the people are cared for. The fuck?
Right.
The people deserve to get like the nitty gritty of the ER? No, because that interferes with patient care. Like, I am all for, freedom of information and like people getting information, especially like in a situation like this where people want to know what's going on. But like, imagine, you are some news reporter and you put out this like video, like this footage from the ER, and that's how somebody discovers that their like family member was gravely injured. Like, that's horrible.
There's a difference between FOIA and HIPAA. In the United States, FOIA is a Freedom of Information Act. You can submit a request for records, police transcripts, body cam footage, all that kind of stuff. There's a difference between FOIA and HIPAA, which is basically patient confidentiality, right? By the way, HIPAA.
Not two P's, two A's.
Not HIPAA like a hippopotamus. It's not HIPPA. It's HIPAA.
I
just saying.
Definitely thought it was HIPPA. Good to know that I was wrong.
But my note here was like, do you guys have thoughts on the press and their role during these situations? I was struck by like recently thinking about the child after the Annunciation shooting that was interviewed. And I just was fucking horrified.
My opinion of the press is that they're depressing and making the situation worse.
Oh my God.
God forbid I have a little whimsy in the face of horror.
I understand, the desire for information in these situations. And I understand there's so much nuance when it comes to the press and like information and like just, and I don't even know for real where I stand on everything, but I just, I feel like we have access to too much information and there's just like too many horrible things that we are just expected to consume and be aware of all the time
Mm-hmm.
and just move on with our
Mm-hmm.
lives. And it's like, it is important because
an educated body of people
is important. Like, there's some media that their slogan is democracy dies in darkness. And like,
mm-hmm.
I believe that, but I also believe that like we as people
need to shut the fuck up.
Well, yes, and we just have access to so much information. Like, this is more information than like people have ever had in any time before this. And we're just like constantly bombarded with horrible things that are happening all the time, and it just like it never stops, and it is affecting us. And so it's just like, what's the line? And I don't have an answer to this. It's just like it's important that the information is out there, but then it's also like, are we expected to consume and be aware of everything? Like, I don't think that we should be. It's just like, it's what a mess. What a time that we live in. Just horrifying.
I think that, and I'm sorry to say this because I know this is very sensitive, and I know like we're going to be, I think the three of us are on the same page, and we have to be very careful about what we're saying because
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are certain things that are said that I just wish I had a platform to correct everything. And so I will say that very recently, a horrible thing happened.
Which one? A lot of very hope. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of horrible things happened.
A lot of us saw footage of it, and almost immediately, a rumor that I heard was that the victim's family was there and saw it. That was 2 weeks ago. I heard yesterday, I only found out yesterday, that's not true. That person's family was not there. But just within 3 minutes of the whole thing happening, I heard one thing that I thought was real, and it took 2 weeks for someone to be like, oh, that's not real. No. Like, what the fuck? What timeline are we living in that someone somewhere was like, let me use this to my advantage and spread something that's not true?
Well, and anybody can just get online and say anything. Like, anybody can have a podcast. Like, look at us. We're not qualified to do this. We're just some people who like bought microphones. Like,
we have,
you know?
no credentials. I didn't graduate college. I flunked out, bitches.
But like, just living in this age of, you know, anybody can say anything they want to online, it almost feels more important that like real credentialed members of the press are like out here saying true things.
Please, I think I just beg of people with microphones to not try to get clicks.
Be responsible with your microphones.
Just tell the truth and have your sources. And I think I think this is somehow watching this episode in real time was very timely. And somehow months later, it is even more timely. And this is a throwaway moment of like 3 seconds of a reporter talking. And I'm sitting here like, please, just be careful. And I don't know, man. I'm like, we have like an audience of maybe 300 people on a regular basis, but I just hope that those 300 people hear me saying, like, I just want you to, whatever you do and whatever you say it and understand it and believe it with compassion, and understand that if something that you are believing or saying is not rooted in compassion, that you should not be believing it or saying it. Just take a second.
And don't believe everything you hear. Like, we have said things that are incorrect, and that's like, it's not treat 'em and eat 'em.
It's not treat 'em and eat 'em. That's
Maybe
exactly
it
what I
is
thought.
treat 'em and eat 'em.
You know what? Maybe two things can be true at the same time. I think that if I ever, we're almost talking as if like the three of us are like the main focus of this podcast. It's not. It's like, it's the show, but it's us, but it's a mix. But like, I just think that the three of us, I know my friends and I know we lead with compassion. I know that we would never ever try to capitalize on trauma or pain. And I know that the three of us, and I trust that the three of us will forever lead with compassion and wanting to make things better, not out of removing, but out of like speaking. I don't know. I hope that makes sense to someone. So back to the episode.
Yes, yeah. Huh, the press. Shen starts asking for Thanksgiving and Christmas off.
Dude.
You're absolutely
So
not getting
funny.
Thanksgiving and Christmas off. You're either getting either or. Like there's no fucking way you're getting both.
If that, like, you are a new attending, sir. Guaranteed that the ones with seniority get first pick.
Bitch, if you want Thanksgiving and Christmas off, choose an office job.
Yeah.
You can't be a doctor in a month. Someone is going to deep fry a frozen turkey and you have to be there. Okay? So
someone is going to electrocute themselves plugging in the Christmas tree. Like, it just
100%. Absolutely. So Javati is trying to work. Her mother is micromanaging and she pops off.
Read the fucking room, Mom.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. She is capable. She is strong. She is beautiful. She is charming. She's mwah. She's a whole package. People in my comments, I didn't realize that people hate Javati. I love Javati.
What?
People in my comments are like, you know what? I hate Javati, but I do like this moment. What? I will point out that when she tells her mom to read the fucking room, if you watch the background, Langdon looks up because, and I wondered, I was like, why is this happening? I posted this and I was like, why is this happening? Why is Langdon looking up? And somebody commented and they were like, I think it's to point out the fact that she was a lot louder than she thought she was. In all of the chaos, Langdon looked up and noticed this. But then we move to McKay, who looks up and makes eye contact with Javati and smiles and nods. And I love women empowering women. I love women.
Oh, yeah.
So good. I love this moment. I love that McKay
is a girl's girl. McKay is a girl's girl.
McKay is a girl's girl, absolutely. So we go back. We have Sylvia, Omar's mom. She is out. She's out cold. We find out that she is bleeding internally, that the fracture in her leg was kind of a red herring. We have missed the fact that the Morrison's pouch is like that, like abdominal region. So she is bleeding into her belly, which is horrifying. But again, like we're in such a chaotic situation. We thought we understood what was happening. We didn't think about the fact that like, based off of her height, like a car would have hit her at like the hip / belly area, not the leg. And so like, yes, her leg is injured, but also like she is bleeding internally. We move to the red zone. Mohan, just incredible. I mean, just like slow-mo, fuck that. No, she is amazing in a trauma situation.
Oh, yeah.
Blown away. If there's any character that you should watch and be like, your whole opinion changes, I think it's Mohan.
Oh,
She's fucking incredible in a trauma. And this is where we have this wonderful moment where Mel is working with Sylvia. She is working with Whitaker to help her, and she spots Langdon in this craziness, and it's the most endearing moment of the entire episode. And she says, "You're here." And it's just like,
it's pure joy.
To me, this is the moment of the episode where like I think I identify so much with Mel and I love Langdon so much that like I took a deep breath because I recognized something.
Yeah.
I had that moment of like, and like also, even if you hate Langdon, you have to admit he is so cool under this pressure. He is juggling everything so well. He is so admirable in this situation. He's doing incredible. Like he's really doing a good job, and he is very much a mentor in this situation. He jumps in, comforts Mel, cracks a joke. Like just that comfort of having him there. It was like the first moment of this episode where I took a breath because I was like, "Oh, my mentor is here," you know?
Don't know that I agree because like obviously I was happy for Mel because their relationship is precious, and there was that little bit of joy, but then there was also the part of me that was like, he should not be here, and I think we are headed for another confrontation between him and Robbie because he just showed up, and so there's also like that stress for me.
Right.
I think for me as a viewer, like the fact that, and like there's someone is going to listen and disagree with me, but the fact that like Langdon's not high. I
Yeah.
believed him when he said it, right? And so, like,
Right.
yes, Robbie told him to leave, but I know in the moment, like, I personally, and like, of course, at this moment, it's not confirmed, right? But I like was watching this and I was like, I know he's not high. We need him here.
I mean, yeah, he's very good at his job. I don't know. I'm just like Robbie's going to be mad. This is like an extra thing for Robbie
Mm.
during this situation. Like I don't know.
Well, right before this, I want to point out that, like, if you listen in the background, you hear Langdon's voice, and he's asking for Zeroform, which is like a sterile petroleum like gauze. And then
Huh.
he's saying so he needs Zeroform and he needs a elastoplast tape, which is like that wrappable like bandage.
Uh-huh.
Like if you have a stitch and you put a band-aid and then you wrap it up, you know?
Yeah.
So he's asking for that. And then if you listen after he has this interaction with Mel, you will hear Perla in the background telling him that they're out of zero form. This is our first moment where we're hearing,
Yikes.
even just like subconsciously in the background, we're out of this. We don't have this.
We're running out of things less than an hour into this casualty event.
Yeah. So Chad is now coming out of the elevator.
What's the joke we had about Chad being
Sexually successful.
sexually successful and also successful at bypassing the security guard to go down to the ER?
So Chad comes into the ER. He's there for Harrison. The guard is like, they have this whole back and forth, and she's like, if you're not back in 5 minutes, I'm coming after you.
And I understand her job, but also he's limping, my guy. It's going to take him 5 minutes just to get to the room.
But also, you want to talk about face acting? When he gets there, like when he gets into the horror and he's looking out at everything, like he is acting, like he is experiencing these horrors. And I like to think that he is gaining a little bit of respect for McKay because he's seeing how good she's at her job and like how much shit she deals with on a daily basis. Like,
Yeah. I actually think that he's playing us.
mm,
He is there to represent us, those who don't work in healthcare, who are seeing the horrors of everything. He is there to understand how absolutely awful everything is because we don't see it. And so I think he represents us. He's also getting this new perspective of McKay, of like, she is not my ex. She is not a drug addict. She is a very
mm-hmm.
capable physician in this incredibly stressful moment. And it's very impactful, I think.
I mean, several years too late for you to finally realize that your, ex-wife's a badass, but better late than never, I guess.
But hey, bonus mom is waiting for you. So Chad finally gets to Harrison. And I honestly, like, I thought it was a little bit weird that he says Grandpa and Grandma McKay.
Do you not
I
just say
don't.
grandpa and grandma? Like, hello?
I mean, like, did you ever refer to your grandparents as Grandpa and Grandma blank? What did you
Yes.
guys call your grandparents?
Grandma and grandpa, like a normal fucking person. Although I would say it in Spanish, so like for my
Abuelita.
my paternal grandfather, I'd call him Tata, and my paternal grandmother, I'd call her Pati, which is just her name. But also, abuelita, abuela, abuelo. My maternal grandma, I called her mamama, which just, mom's mom.
Oh my god, I literally called my grandma was mom. We called her mom
That's
because
awesome.
it was mom's mom. Yeah, mom.
And then unfortunately, I never got to know my maternal grandfather. He died before I was born.
Neither do I. Yeah, same.
My dad's parents were Grammy and Pops. Well, still are. They're both still alive. Sorry,
Okay,
let
flex.
me. my dad's parents are Grammy and Pops, to be clear. My mom's parents were Guy and Papa because Guy wanted to be Granny and I could not say Granny and I was the first grandchild. So I said Guy and unfortunately she was then stuck with that for the next 24 years. So
I had Grandmama Peggy and Granddaddy Bob and Mom. So yeah.
I didn't find Grandma and Grandpa McKay weird though.
No, that's so formal. You're calling them by their last names? That's so fucking weird.
I feel like I've heard of people doing this though. Like if you don't have individual names for your grandparents, they're just like grandma and grandpa. Like that's what you're gonna call them. Like when you're speaking to them, you're gonna be like, "Oh, grandma." But if you're talking to your dad and you have two sets of grandparents, you're gonna be like, "Oh, grandma and grandpa McKay are gonna come get me."
Nah.
I don't know. I didn't find it weird, but
So we also have Garcia surprised to see Langdon there because she's bringing the
she knows all
rainy
the tea.
clips. Oh, she knows everything. She's bringing the rainy clips for Mel to be putting on our hippie patient. Langdon's spidey senses are telling him that this patient, who we thought was a trampling victim, just has low blood sugar because they roll her to look at her back and he notices that she has a blood sugar monitor. So he's like, no, 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 I'm thinking she took her insulin and then, all this stuff and she hasn't eaten, she's at a music festival, low blood sugar.
A question for the PITT, not just the PITT details, but the PITT. Can they use my spidey sense was tingling, and I suspect she took her morning insulin and forgot to have lunch. Can they use spider sense? Isn't that trademark?
Spidey senses. Well, it's WB.
Hmm.
HBO is WB. The
Which
show is
does
WB.
not own Spider-Man at all.
Well, I think Spidey sense may be public domain,
You know what? Maybe.
If you say
Spidey sense
well,
copyright.
I mean, if they can have the Flash on a Band-Aid, they can say
You
Spidey
know what? I
sense,
completely
no?
forgot about the flash on the Band-Aid, so maybe it's just a cheek and tongue reference thing. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe they have some kind of thing going on.
Langdon doesn't really have the time to test her blood sugar. He's just got his spidey senses and incredible line, to be honest. He says, when he's right, he says, "Would you look at that? These are healing hands." And Garcia says, "Too bad they're so tiny." Says a surgeon. Have you ever shook the hand of a surgeon?
No.
Uh-huh.
They're like wet fucking noodles.
Right. I think it's less that she's making that joke about like it's a dick joke. That's kind of what the
I
thing is.
get it, but also
Do
like,
yeah.
ugh. But also like
No, could you explain it
really,
to me, please?
So sometimes
Langdon has a tiny penis. He has 2 children. He's sexually successful. So as Langdon is rolling this patient off, he is explaining to her everything that's happening. You were at PitFest, you're at Pittsburgh Trauma Medical Center, there was a mass shooting, you're okay. He then runs into Dana, and this is another moment of just like really incredible acting between the two of them. He asked Dana what she's doing. She says they've run out of laryngoscopes and that they're low on chest tubes and oneg. She says that they don't have time to autoclave. And I was like, okay, I understand what she's getting at, but like as a podcast host, I'm sitting there thinking, what does that mean? So I Googled it. Basically, if you've ever worked in food service, compare your autoclave to like your Hobart, right? A lot of us know what a Hobart is. It's basically that, but like a lot stronger. You use it to like sterilize your tools. Okay. So like a laryngoscope is not a one-time use thing, right? But you have to autoclave it, which kills all the bacteria, all that kind of stuff. So in this moment, Dana, again, she doesn't know what's going on with Langdon, but she knows that he's not supposed to be there. She knows that something has happened and she's disappointed in him. And there is this moment of like, she is disappointed. She does not want him to be there. She knows he's not supposed to be there. And she wants him to be very clear on the fact that she is disappointed in him. But there's also this like yearning from him that you get in that, like, he wants that motherly banter from her and he's not going to get it. So there's this roadblock, and it's so beautifully acted that it makes you uncomfortable to watch it. And I think it's great. So Langdon continues on with his patient. Santos is absolutely horrified to see Langdon. But it gives me that, like, I, for the first time ever, think that I can, like, kind of identify with Santos is that, like, that whole, like, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a situation where, like, you've talked about someone and you know that they know, and then you guys see each other and, like, your whole body goes cold and you get that, like, adrenaline, like, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. I identify with that happening right now for Santos.
That's real.
She has that moment of like, she turns to look at her patient and she's kind of like mouthing something. And it's that moment of like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? But also like Langdon asks like, what are you doing? And rather than actually explaining, which is what Mel does, Santos says, treating the patient. And I understand that she's pissed. This is like literally not the fucking moment, not the time for that.
Yeah.
I don't want.
Sorry, I'm just like so tired.
It's okay. I know. I'm so sorry. Now we also go back. We were referring to him earlier. This is our head anesthesiologist, our primary anesthesiologist. This is Gladden. He is struggling to intubate. They're running out of stuff. And I just like, my note here was like, do you guys know why anesthesiologists always want to know when you last ate?
Yes, because if you throw up and you aspirate, like, you will die.
Exactly that. So if you are, a very common reaction to an anesthetic is to vomit. So if you have something in your stomach and they give you an anesthetic and you throw up, you will aspirate, you could die. That is very much why they're like, hey, before surgery, you cannot eat, you cannot drink, blah, 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 blah. Now, like, trying to imagine a mass casualty where people are coming from a festival where they are pumped full of alcohol, who knows what drugs, who knows how many hot dogs, pretzels, whatever. Like, that must be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny to me how much the, like, quote unquote upstairs doctors don't seem prepared at all to improvise. Like, this man is not ready to be outside of his like typical like has this person eaten, has this person like
why
no way of knowing that.
Like the fact that he asks Robbie, do we know when this guy last ate? Like, no, bitch.
Why would we know that? And like it's the same with Dr. Shamsi in a little bit with the like chest tubes. Like they're just not prepared to think on their feet in the way that we have become so used to with these ER doctors, because like they're encountering people coming in like not prepared to receive medical treatment, whereas like a lot of these surgeons are encountering people who have scheduled.
This was on the schedule. Right, exactly. So, of course, Robbie steps in because they were all struggling with this intubation. They don't have the tools that they need to be able to, like, flexibly intubate this person. And so Robbie goes in and teaches them, you know, like, hey, give me a couple bubbles. I can follow the bubbles down with this, like, rigid laryngoscope. Like, that's all I've got for you, but I can do this. I'm really impressed with Robbie because, like, I expect this kind of stuff from Abbott, not necessarily Robbie. And so I was very impressed with Robbie in this.
There's season. More than one way to tube a cat.
Oh my God, I hate that.
Because like it's terrible, but also
it's awful.
But also like
but it's also funny.
It's funny, but like the original saying, can we not ever say that again? Because why the fuck is that ever a thing? Ugh. I'm staring at my cat who is currently like licking his butt and thinking, can we please never say that again? I think I've mentioned this before, but again, I want to bring it up just for context. An in tidal is the measurement that is taken at the end of an exhale. So at the very end of an exhale, you want to measure the CO2, the carbon dioxide that you have received, because you want to understand, basically, you want to know, like, yes, this person is exhaling CO2, because when you inhale oxygen, you should exhale CO2. That proves that, like, yes, your lungs are working the way you should be. If you're exhaling oxygen, that's not great, right? Like, it's not being processed. So again, that's why they're going over this, and that indicates as yellow on that in title of the intubation of the bag. Again, Robbie has not heard from Jake. We get a check-in, no word from Jake. Mohan has a patient with subcutaneous emphysema. Subcutaneous meaning under the skin, emphysema, very, very short story, means air trapping. So air trapped under the skin. She cuts blowholes so that the air can come out of this man's chest.
Crazy. Hate it.
Absolutely disgusting.
You go shh.
Yeah, nasty. Santos's sketchy patient has absolutely disappeared. She calls him MCI 28, which to me is like
the man that Robert thought was okay.
Yeah, the man that he's like, no, he's good. He's good.
I zone out for 2 seconds and then I accidentally side with a bad guy.
So crazy that he was like the 28th patient, because if you think about it, like, I guess that means within like 30 minutes he must have arrived, I guess. That means he's the 28th patient to have arrived. considering that we find out that he is a journalist, like, the timing is crazy to me. I also just hate this man. Anyway, over the radio, as Santos is looking for this patient, we hear Dana saying that they are low on chest tubes and Thoraceal. Thoraceal, I Googled. It could be two things, but with later context, I'm going to say this is a drainage system basically used for, like, so sorry to anyone who's not in the medical field, sucking chest wounds. Okay. So Thoraceal you'll use to drain a chest wound. Yuck.
Ew.
Now, Santos finds this reporter and he is filming video in the ER and he makes a run for it and he slips on a puddle of blood.
Like, what was he wanting to do with this video? Like, why do you want...
He wanted to be the first person to be like, look at this, heartbreaking, terrible
Insight.
tragedy. Insight.
Here's a look into the ER. Like, fucking disgusting.
$10, he's a Fox reporter. I'll say it.
He's a Twitter reporter.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he was just going to post this on social media and be like, look at all this gruesome gore.
Yeah. I think all three of us can fairly say within the past, well, since, by the time this episode airs, in the past 3 weeks, we have seen footage that we never fucking wanted to see.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of people listening can say safely they saw footage they never wanted to see. So, no, reporters, you don't need to be in the ER filming the most vulnerable moments of people's lives to be seen as legitimate news. That's not what we want. If that is the news, quote unquote, that you are catering to, you're a vulture. You're not a journalist. That's it. Just period. That's it.
Yeah, full stop, end of sentence.
Yeah. So he slips on blood. He passes out. He wasn't actually injured, but now he is because he's hit his head. And I, honestly, this is the moment where I grab Santos's hand and I'm like, hell yeah, bestie. She takes his phone and she throws it in the bloody mop bucket. And I love it.
And simply says, oops.
Oops. I fucking love this. Love it. Now, Javadi does this fucking incredible job instead of absolutely freaking out the way that her mom does, because her mom loses her shit.
Again, the upstairs
she's
doctors
like,
are not prepared
chest
to improvise.
tube, and they're like, we don't have chest tube, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, she literally cannot handle deviating from script.
I also love how Mateo hypes her up.
Yes.
For this. She needed this.
I think this is the first time all season that somebody validates Javadi. And I love that it's Mateo.
I love that it's for Utah.
I love that it's a hot guy that's like, that's brilliant. Yes, absolutely. I fucking love that for her. I love seeing her thrive in improvisation. I adore her. I love this for her. I'm so impressed by her. Now, Sylvia needs blood. Desperately. They're out.
And Mel is hyper fixating on her.
She is hyper fixating
in the way that
on
she
this patient. Yes, and I think it's because she is kind of the first patient that Mel has. And so Mel gets kind of stuck on this, but Mel is so desperate to get her blood that she's like, I'm Oneg. I donate regularly. Please, please, please just let me donate. And Robbie says, you know what? The benefits outweigh the risks.
So here's the thing. So first of all, from what I've seen from people like doctors and people who work in ERs, the general consensus is this would never fucking happen in a regular general hospital day, but in extreme situations and emergencies, illegal sketchy shit happens all the time where doctors have to pull something out of their ass to save their patient.
Yeah.
The other thing I've seen is that it's seemingly more of blood is important, but also to donate that blood, Mel is going to be quote unquote out of commission for about 10-15 minutes. Everyone else who's Oneg or Opaz who's going to donate will be out of commission for 10-15 minutes. Those are hands that will not be helping patients with the care that they need.
Well, for everybody except for Abbott.
However, true. But also, you have to consider it is one at a time. By the time you have someone recovered. But I will say, for I think it was International Blood Donation Week, we as PITT fans donated blood. We had a PITT crew, not PITT crew as in our show, but PITT crew blood drive. I donated for the first time in my life. I am O positive. I donated. There was a center nearby. I went. I wear my Frank Langdon shirt. Thank you, Mal.
Yeah.
And I will say it probably took from start to finish about 30 minutes. You go in, you answer questions, and then you sit down. And as you're laying there, they I didn't even feel the needle go in. Like it was just like pressure. And I was like, oh, okay, that was like the easiest thing ever. And as I was standing there, sitting there, I was like talking to the people who worked there. They were so excited for me to be there. They brought me juice boxes, and I just kind of like laid there and drank my juice. And I was like, so what is this going to take, like an hour? And they were like, and I literally was like looking at this woman. She's like looking down at the blood bag, and she's like, no, nowhere near that. And it was less than 30 minutes. And then, of course, they want you to sit over by a table for like 10, 15 minutes. Just make sure you feel okay. You definitely need to communicate with them and let them know, like, hey, I don't feel so great. So, like, I was sitting there. As they finished, they took the IV out and they were like, how you feeling? And I was like, you know what? I'm a little woozy. And so they laid me back, and they're all just kind of like prepared. Like, if you're going to pass out, they're going to catch you. They're ready for that. It's okay. Please, 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 though, I will say, please donate blood. It is so desperately needed. It really is just like an hour out of your day. Yes, I came home and took a big old nap, but like, hey, do that on a weekend and you're good. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
I could have saved a life. Who knows? You know, I don't know who gets my blood, but I really hope that it makes a difference. And so, like, I will encourage, if you can, please, please, please donate some blood. So Dana is like, cool. Okay, you know what? We're setting up a donation center. O neg, o pause, raise your hand. Everybody over here. And then we cut to the cafeteria where we see the family and the friends of the victims. Mal,
Yeah.
you went to school with this girl.
I did. The one who asked about her mom.
She's like, my mom is Patricia Gregory. She goes by Trish. And Mal was like, I think I went to school with this girl.
I was like, she looks so familiar. Yeah, she was a freshman when I was a senior. So I'm sure, like, if you asked her, she would have no idea who I am. So we weren't, like, friends, but I was like, I know her face.
Why do you know her? How do you remember someone you haven't seen in, like, 8-ish years?
Well, like, we were in theater together. So I mean, I don't know. Perhaps it's...
Say no more. You do not forget the people you were in theater with.
Right. Perhaps it's me being, like, a little... Because when I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, what is her name? But, like, I knew that I knew her face. So... Perhaps this is me, like, thinking too much of myself, but I'm like, maybe if she saw my face, she would also have that same reaction. Be like, oh my gosh, like, yes, her. So,
but I specifically remember that you were like, I know this girl. I think I went to school with this girl. And I looked this girl up, and I was like, this is this girl from this place. And you were like, oh my God.
Her name is Emma Kennedy. Yeah, we went to high school together. I'm pretty sure shortly after I graduated, she, like, moved to LA to start doing acting stuff and, like, did not graduate from my same high school.
Yeah, you know what? I went to the same high school as Kesha, but she got her GED instead, so
yeah. Maybe I can use this. Hey, Emma, do you want to come on the podcast?
So, again, like we mentioned this, Mel is, like, hyper fixating on this patient. She gets her blood donation, but then she also wants to stand there and, like, rather than having a pressurized line, like, she wants to, like, squeeze this blood bag herself. And we do hear later on that, like, Whitaker and Santos are like, where is Mel? She needs to get back here.
But I would be the same. Like, sometimes I start a task and I'm like, I need to finish this task, even though I have other tasks that also need to be done. I'm like, no, this is the task.
Now, of course, we have, like, the moment where, so, like, Robert and I, we were all like, wait a minute, is this a moment where we all got horny? And Mal was like, even I got horny.
This is the sexiest a man has ever been to me. So just jot that down.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers. Robert, tell us about it.
Which is just Abbott is helping out a patient, actively donating his blood to said patient while he's working.
He's got the blood bag taped to his leg, like
left leg.
A lot of people found out they were into DILFs when they watched these last 3 episodes. I'm just saying that loud.
This is where the Emmy came from.
Yeah.
This is where the Emmy came from.
And listen, as someone who passed out the last time I donated blood, I am doubly impressed by this because I'm like, I need a juice box and I need to lay down. Like, this man is actively saving lives while he is donating blood. Like, this is nuts.
I can't imagine standing up and donating blood.
No, crazy.
It's not happening.
Built different. It's crazy.
And then we get a little callback to earlier in the day when Robbie taught Mel how to do a crike. Step 1, scalpel. Step 2, fingers. Step 3, bougie.
He taught her, yeah, this is exactly what he taught her in 8 a.m. He was like, if you can do this, you know, in a moment where you don't have a lot of time, you can do this, and that's what comes back. So this is that callback to the quote, "for Christ's sake" scene. Also, I just love, like, multiple times throughout the first season, we hear, like, Robbie's, like, Winnie the Pooh laugh, where he goes, hoo, hoo, hoo. And
When the fuck's the last time you heard
it.
Winnie the Pooh laugh?
I don't know. When was the last time I watched this episode? But no, like, this is his. I actually posted Robbie's Winnie the Pooh ass laugh. So yeah, no, it's just, I love it. I think it's great. So we go to this patient that Santos is checking in on. This patient is having a very serious trauma response. She can't speak. She's nodding, shaking her head, kind of barely reacting to what Santos is saying. We will get her story later on, but this is Trish Gregory. This is who we were just asking about. This young woman, this is her mother.
Yeah.
I think, again, another incredibly impactful moment of acting is Donahue, because I think this is the first moment of the entire episode where there is sorrow. Everybody's kind of been on adrenaline and like crying in pain, and this is the first person who is just pure grief and disbelief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a moment of Donahue, because Santos is kind of just like disengaged from the emotion of it. She's just kind of like, oh, you're I can't meet you on this level. Santos will have this moment later on where she meets someone where they are, but this is not that moment. But this woman starts sobbing, and Donahue is down on the ground, and he says, I'll get you some tissues. And he has tears in his eyes. And I think this is that very first moment of like, oh, that's a lot. We just saw a lot.
It is a lot.
Before we get to the very end of this episode, there's a moment, okay, where...
Another moment? God, how many moments are there?
I'm so sorry. Robbie is instructing Javati and Whitaker to go to the helipad to get blood. And he gives them very specific instructions on where to stand so that the pilot can see them, okay? So, if you are planning on watching ER, if you don't want spoilers for the show ER, anything like that, spoiler, please skip like 30 seconds. I have not watched ER more than the first episode, so I reached out to my friend Nat. She runs No Context at the Pit, and I said, please explain to me the nod to ER in this moment. So, from now, please skip 30 seconds. She said there is a character in ER who has his arm cut off by the blades of a helicopter.
Is that
one
possible?
Of the doctors? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the context, but he has his arm chopped off. And then he ends up losing his arm. After, like, the next season, apparently, he dies because he's crushed by a helicopter.
What the hell?
ER is a wild show.
This man has trouble with helicopters.
So, like, wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
ER.
This is like a maybe a wink to ER, but basically a lot of ER fans were like, oh.
Then we go outside and we see what I think is one of the most horrifying scenes, because the ambulance pulls up and it is covered with bloody handprints. Like, this is giving zombie apocalypse to me. Like, all the people have pounded on this ambulance for help, trying to get in. Like, horrifying.
Am I the only person that watched this, and when the ambulance opened up, I think there were 3 people inside, and I thought 3?
Like they should have fit more.
I get it, but also like 3? That's it? That's all you got? If they can sit up straight, can they not sit up off to the side? Can they not, like, what 3? That's it? And I don't work in emergency medicine. I'm not a first responder, but the doors opened and it was 3 people, and I thought, 3?
I also would love to hear more from, like, an EMT who has worked a situation like this, because how do you even decide, like, who comes? Are you just, like, grabbing whoever's closest? Are you going based on, like, severity of injury? Like, what is...
I mean, I imagine it needs sort of the same context as to taking
triage.
care of patients in triage, where it's like you take care of the most visibly, like you gauge who's the most visibly in need of help and you help them. And once you're out of
But
the
you also
room,
have to consider that, like, who is the most serious immediately to you?
yeah.
Because you're not looking 10 feet away from you, you know?
Yeah, you're not jogging
It's
half a
one of
mile up the route to
Mhm.
try and find
You're like, "What
someone.
about you? What about you?" It's no, it's immediately who is in front of you and who needs help. But I wanna say I'm so grateful to know that there are medical professionals who listen to our show. I am grateful to know that you guys enjoy the show and the things we have to say, even if we're just laughing. But I will say, I think that we've had a moment where we thought, you know what, we could use our podcast to share stories. And so if you know someone who could lend an idea of what that is like, or would like to share their story, or would like to even just like come to us and be like, you know what, people don't understand how fucking hard it is. If you want to share that with us, please do. Like, please let us know and we will lend you our platform. We would love to do that for you. And so if you know someone who is a paramedic and has attended to things like this and they want to share that story, please let us know. We would love to lend our our audience and our platform to people who would like to share those stories. And that's not even quite the end of the episode. We have like Robbie is out there, this ambulance is arriving, the sun is setting, and a cop car arrives. There is a cop that has been shot in the neck, but the exit wound is on his face.
This is
Ooh.
also horrifying.
Whew. And even like taking it up even like 4 more notches, I swear to God, SWAT has arrived. Because there has been chatter that maybe the shooter might come to the hospital.
This is one of the reasons that I thought it was David, because I was like, why would the shooter have any reason to come to the hospital?
Right, right.
Unless it was somebody that had a connection to the hospital. So again, maybe it's a disgraced doctor.
I don't know. I think there are certain terror attacks in our country that have targeted certain people that I can relate to. And so like this terror of like there are a lot of people who, I mean, if you look at like school shootings and things, people say like, "Oh, they pulled the fire alarm and then shot people as they came out."
Mm.
That's kind of the same idea here, and it's so fucking horrifying. And of course, on top of all of this, Robbie is trying to text Jake, and his texts now aren't even going through. Like, immediately failed to deliver. This episode is the shortest, and I think we've talked the longest of all the episodes.
Because there's just so much.
And it didn't even feel like there was, but then there is. And I think that it's so hard to end an episode like this. I don't even know. Like, I think all we can say is really like, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. No, I don't wish. I demand better of my homeland.
Mm.
Very recently, I've seen Edelweiss a lot on like, I'm sorry, my cat is really hungry and he has a lot to say, but I've seen Edelweiss popping up a lot. Bless my homeland forever. And I don't wish better. I don't pray for better from my homeland. I pray for my homeland all the time, and I demand better of my homeland, and I demand better of my fellow citizens, and I demand that it must be safer. I don't just wish, I don't just pray, I don't just hope, I demand. I think that's really like the best way to sum up how I feel about all of this.
Right.
Because not only do we have victims of gun violence, we have the healthcare providers, the first responders, the 911 dispatchers, the counselors that deal with the aftermath, the parents, the ripple effect, the everything. And that percentage of people who feel the effects of gun violence, as you include all of the people who are affected by those affected, grows so exponentially, so quickly. I demand better of this country. That's it. Like, full stop. I demand better. It has to be better. It must be better. It was built on being better, so where the fuck is better?
It's a great question.
Where is the land of the free if we let our babies die? Where is the land of the free if we can't enjoy time off the clock, time on the clock? We can't exist without the threat of graphic end. You know? Do you guys have anything? Is there anything you guys want to share?
Not particularly
I got
know.
nothing.
What a mess of an episode. It is a lot later than we intended. Hopefully next time we'll be able to, there's a little bit more discussion, but I don't envy our editor.
Yeah, me neither.
Robert, I'm so sorry.
Oh, my headphones are dying.
Yeah, if you guys have anything to share, please let us know. pitcrewpodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear your stories. We want to engage with you guys. Yeah. And if that's all, so long, fellow losers.
The Pit Crew podcast is created and produced by us, Robert, Mal, and Camille. It's edited by me, Robert. You can find us on TikTok, Threads, and Instagram at Pit Crew Podcast. If you'd like to support our other projects, our socials are linked in the show notes below. Our art is by Rampacoca. He can be found on Instagram at Rampacoca. All patient questions and concerns can be emailed to pitcrewpodcast@gmail.com. Now, this isn't a Taco Bell, but we do appreciate a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to schedule a follow-up appointment with a nurse before you go. See you next time.